Welcome to Module 6 of the Administration Code Regulations Training 703 KAR 5080. My name is Shara Savage. I am in the Office of Assessment and Accountability. During Module 6, the completion of the state assessment. You're in the home stretch. You've completed the test preparation and you've finished testing. What happens now? At this point in the process, you still have secure test materials. If you are the back, you will be working out with your DAC how to handle the return of the materials to the vendor. For some tests, you may be packing and sending from the school. Other tests, you may be sending those materials back to the district to be returned to the vendor in one large shipment. After testing is complete, it is time to securely destroy the seal codes, test tickets, scratch paper, and any other materials outlined in the test administration manual that could not be returned to the vendor. Some districts have these items securely destroyed by the school. Others have everything brought to the DACs. This is a local decision. Test booklets, answer documents, these type of materials must be returned to the vendor. Following the instructions from your DAC on the proper procedures to use. If you are responsible for packing these materials, please refer to the Administration Guide for guidance. Scratch paper has been accumulating all through our testing window and should be treated as secure materials. Some of our scratch paper could be test tickets that students use for scratch paper as well. As your materials ship back to the vendor, it is time to securely destroy all scratch paper according to your district's policy. Test tickets and answer documents should be treated as secure materials. Some of our test tickets could be in the scratch paper pile if students used it for scratch paper. As your materials ship back to the vendor, it is time to securely destroy all test tickets according to your district policy. Completed answer documents will be returned to the vendor for scoring. Depending on the assessment, you may or may not return blank answer documents. Please refer to the Test Administration Manual for guidance on how to handle blank answer documents. The review of secure assessment components has shifted from the district to KDE. Let's look at how those items may be reviewed. There are many times when persons outside of education environment request to see secure materials. Schools and districts do not have to take on the responsibility of allowing those materials. This duty has moved to KDE. Oftentimes, the request comes after secure materials are no longer in the district. KDE keeps on file, in paper format, all state-required assessments. For those willing to physically come to Frankfort, KDE may make arrangements for specific concerns to be addressed with appropriate staff from the Office of Assessment and Accountability. Anyone reviewing a test item or items will be required to sign a legally binding non-disclosure form. As much as we try to have a perfect administration, test irregularities can occur. Sometimes the irregularity will rise to an allegation. Determination if a test irregularity is an allegation should be made by the DAC. The definition of a test irregularity is unplanned occurrences during a test administration that may be resolved at the district level or could result in additional investigations by the state. These investigations may lead to the reporting of an allegation. What does a test irregularity look like? These are some examples of test irregularities. All of these are not allegations, but may need to be investigated to determine the status. All test irregularities should be conducted and maintained in the district. Getting statements quickly from all parties involved will assist the DAC to know if an allegation should be filed. When you look at this list, which one will you think rises to the level of an allegation? Student leaving the room without authorization, a student provided his or her accommodations, not provided his or her accommodations. Would all of these examples automatically not be an allegation? No. Each test irregularity would need to be investigated to determine if proper procedures were followed. If uncertain, talk with your DAC. We always get the questions concerning materials in the classroom during an emergency. It is spring when we do our KSA testing, and this is usually a time of spring storms and tornadoes. If you can secure the materials, please do so. But the safety of your students takes precedence over the test materials. KDE will work with you if something happens to your test materials. In case you were wondering, we have had a tornado come through and take materials into another state. No students were harmed, which is what is important. These are broad allegation categories or issue codes used for filing an allegation. Notice that examples correspond to the information that we have covered in the Administration Code training. Let's look more closely at each category. First category, inappropriate practice, improper assistance. Commenting, indicating evaluation of a student's work, any actions, comments, or feedback that assist students in answering a question or completing the test answers. Use of a specific test item knowledge to prepare students for the assessment, allowing students to change or complete answers after the time limit. Next is monitoring issues, student inappropriate actions. Testing staff not accurately circulating or not maintaining a conducive testing environment. Student were to head into other parts or return to a previously administered test part. Students sharing answers through any manner, including physical gestures, written or electronic means. Next is security of testing materials. Test materials left unattended or not securely stored, unaccounted for test materials, allowing untrained individuals or those without DAC permissions to access secure materials, sharing in any manner knowledge of specific items, allowing students to carry or have secure materials without supervision. Next, materials, resources, electronic devices. Staff providing materials that are not a part of the state-required assessment, not providing resources as directed in testing manuals, displaying content information on surfaces in testing environment, inappropriate use of electronic devices during testing sessions. Testing order or time. Staff not administering test parts in the order they appear in the test booklets or not observing sessions time limits. Next, special populations or accommodations. Staff failed to provide accommodations or provide inappropriate accommodations per the IEP, PSP, or 504 plan. Staff not following appropriate administration guidelines for alternate assessment test components. Lastly, other. Incidents or allegations that occurred but are not limited to the following actions: test fraud, test theft, test prep, inappropriate reporting of student data, and non-academic indicators, testing issues, test security breach, etc. Allegations are investigated by KDE staff. The investigations require documentations of the incident to be submitted and can include school visits and interviews with those involved. Allegations may be reported by anyone through notifying school or district staff or directly to KDE. Allegations can be reported anonymously through phone calls or emails. The report information must be sufficient enough to warrant an investigation. Reports that lack enough information are stalled and cannot be followed up upon with an investigation. Allegations reported to DACS should be relayed to KDE through the District Assessment Coordinator. DACS, in turn, will submit the information online. Here is the process in more detail. Investigations results go to the Board of Review, who sends their recommendation to the Commissioner of Education, who will make the final determination. The district will receive a letter from KDE stating the actions being taken. There are a few more parts of the state assessment and accountability system: reporting student data and non-academic indicators. Non-academic information submitted to KDE is expected to be as accurate as possible at the time of submission. However, there are opportunities to correct errors that are discovered during the data review process. Embargoes are in place around different types of data at multiple times throughout the year. The embargoes are in place to allow the review of data for accuracy before the data is released to the public. Releasing embargo data can result in misinformation being shared and inadequate data being used for decision making. KDE clearly communicates embargo time periods as well as when the data is available to the public. A violation of the embargo could result in not having early access to future pre-release data. Non-academic data such as graduation codes are entered into Infinite Campus and retrieved from there for inclusion for public reporting for assessment and accountability. IC is considered the authoritative source for this data. As of November 30th, the Administration Code 703 KAR 5080 regulation is in effect that removes the extraordinary circumstances as an exemption category. Based on the findings from the federal audit, KDE may only allow student exemptions for significant medical emergencies. Medical exemptions will not include the type of non-medical exemptions previously defined as extraordinary circumstances, beginning now and in all future assessment administrations. It is time for our sixth and final check for understanding. I will give you a few minutes to read through these yes or no questions, then we will discuss the answers. Is scratch paper considered a secure material? Yes, it is. Next question. Are those who request to review secure materials required to sign a non-disclosure form? Yes, a non-disclosure form is required for anyone reviewing secure test materials. Last question. Do all test irregularities result in an allegation? No, they do not. This concludes our training. If you have questions, please contact us at KDE DAC Information by email at dacinfo@education.ky.gov or give us a call at 502-564-4394. Thank you for participating in this section of the training with the Office of Assessment and Accountability. This concludes Module 6 of the Administration Code Regulations. Be sure to review all 6 modules to complete the Administration Code training. If you have questions, please contact us at KDE DAC Information by email at dacinfo@education.ky.gov or give us a call at 502-564-4394. Thank you for participating in this section of the training with the Office of Assessment and Accountability.